How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. It's Monday. Monday on The Big Thing. We are live. And what a day to go live, man. The Deadpool and Wolverine kind of full trailer, I guess, or trailer 2, whatever you want to call it, comes out today. People are losing their minds, and rightfully so. It was a great trailer. So Rocha and I have both seen it. We're going to, I'll bring it up and we'll kind of go through a shot by shot and see if there's anything in general that we missed, any Easter eggs, things that you guys can post out in the chat for sure. So we'll have some fun with it, and then we're going to try to get to some other topics. We might. I think some of the other ones that are out there that we may or may not get to is Venom got pushed. Nicolas Cage and Travolta are going to return for Face Off 2. It looks like Blair Witch cast said, "Hey, wait a minute. I know you guys are doing another one, but we'd like to get paid for all that money that you made because it'd be nice." And Tom Holland talks about his future in Spider-Man. Now, that's stuff we could get to. We're definitely going to get to the Deadpool stuff. So if you're brand new to the channel, you've never been here before, hit subscribe. Trying to get to 200,000 faster than we got to 100. And just having you guys aboard, having you guys have the conversation really helps. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. Yeah, we got the Patreon. We got all that stuff. So we're going to have a lot of fun here today. It's me. It's John Rocha. It's you guys. It's The Big Thing Live. Let's do it. Welcome back, one all, to the Big Thing live show with myself, John Rocha. What's up, John?
Hello, man. What's up? How's it going? Oh, thanks.
Good to have you. Good to have you. Although I feel like for some reason it's like you're my one friend that doesn't have kids that I know is always awake at the same time I am.
It's like I only need 5 or 6 hours of sleep. It drives the lady outlaw crazy, but that's how my body constitution works, man. For better.
I never feel bad when I text you at like 6:30 in the morning because I always know you're awake.
I am from 12 to 6:30. That's my sleeping time.
Yeah.
So I usually am awake when everyone's texting late at night or in the morning. Yeah.
Because John and I are John and I are friendly competitive. So I know this one will be like, damn it, when I tell him this, because we're friendly competitive and I have no problem telling him this. It's funny because you wrote me this morning. You're like, what time do you want to do the show?
Yeah.
And you're like, well, because that this trailer just dropped. And I'm sitting there in my kitchen making coffee and I go, what trailer? and I look over, I go, holy crap. So I ran back to my office and I did it. And I got it up before you did it.
Yeah, no, you did. Yeah. So because I texted you, I was still in bed.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank God for Rocha.
Thank God for Rocha. So I was already moving at that point. So I said, my wife said it knows at this point. I'm like, honey, I got an important one I got to do. She's like, go. And she got the kids ready for school. And I was able to, take the oldest to school, but because we're getting everything ready, we had a yard sale over the weekend. We're getting ready for this move.
Nice.
And I got to thank some peeps, and we'll give actual full thanks, once I get set up and everything, but we set up this Amazon list. Okay. The wish list, and really somebody got us a lens, somebody got us some tiles, somebody got us some things. So we're really appreciative. And someone asked us if we were going to do a wish list. I did. I put it up there and it's in the videos. But for people who are supporting us, thank you so much. And you support just by everything that you're doing here today. I already saw we got tons of questions already coming in through Super Chat.
Already. Wow.
We got a ton of questions already. People are already asking a whole bunch of questions. So hopefully what we'll do is, if you're brand new to this live show, you've never seen it before, John and I will go over the topics at hand. And at the very end of the show, we'll get to every one of the super chats, and we're here until the last one is read. So don't worry about that. Yeah, John, this trailer dropped today, and what did you think of the trailer first and foremost?
I thoroughly loved it. I like that they wasted no time bringing in Wolverine right off the bat, and we got a lot of things that we've seen before. Wolverine being recruited out of a bar, of course, brings to mind Days of Future. X-Men First Class?
X-Men First Class is what I was thinking of. Yeah.
So having all that, but then the thing that I really liked about the trailer overall is it was a nice mixture of the humor of Deadpool. They didn't like tone that down, or didn't, especially those last few exchanges there about all the different names for cocaine, but they kept the stakes there. Clearly, this is a guy who, for all his jokes and all the sophomoric humor, he loves the people in his life. He loves the family that he's kind of pseudo built over those two movies. So the fact that it might be in danger, I think, ups the stakes. Having him bring in Wolverine they can have the jokes, but they can also go crazy when they need to go crazy. And the slow motion walk of them when they turn the corner, all of that was great. Plus, there's a nice little backstory that I wonder what they're playing with Wolverine, and then bringing in Cassandra Nova, who is technically Charles Xavier's sister, but there's, if you've read the comics, there's a lot that goes on with Cassandra Nova and what she's about, the Shi'ar Empire, what we saw with Lalandra recently, X-Men 97, all of that is tied into Professor X. So it's an interesting choice, but overall, fucking great. Loved it. Can't wait to see the movie again.
Yeah, it did look good. And I agree with you 100% that it keeps the tone of Deadpool for people who are wondering if Deadpool is going to have, because Deadpool in itself had some very serious moments, and Deadpool had, and it absolutely did. But when you see Logan sitting at that bar, from what people were telling me inside of the comments, it's not the actual first class scene, which I thought it was going to be, but it has that, it does have that feel for sure. But it's that also has that. This is the Logan that we like the best, the desperate one, the one who's out in his luck, the one who's, really is kind of, I guess, burdened by pain.
Yeah, the guilt.
And guilt. That's the Logan that always works really well, and that's why it works so well in Logan. So I really like that they were able to mix that, because the question is, could they pull that off? Could they pull off that tone itself? With the Deadpool, and it seems in this trailer that they did. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually pull the trailer up itself.
Oh, okay.
And we can kind of go through. Maybe we'll do kind of like a shot by shot thing. Good. And I'll make sure that I turn the volume down so we don't get a copyright strike. But yeah, he's sitting at the bar here, and the guy basically tells him, "Get out of here." And I like how he doesn't, because you right away think, okay, he's going to start mouthing off to the guy. He's like, "Just leave me alone. I'll have give me a drink, and then I'll be fine. Don't break my chops." And you get the humor without them trying to do the ha 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 when he goes. He says to him, he goes, "What does he call Miss or lady or lady or little lady
peanut or something like
that?"
No.
That's what Deadpool says to him. But Hugh Jackman calls him like little lady or something. Hold on. What is he doing? Hold on.
Hey, Peanut, I'm gonna need you to come with me right now. Look, lady.
Look, lady. And it doesn't really make any sense.
Which means Wolverine's been involved with some freaky stuff in the past.
I'm sure.
Put that on the table.
Yeah, and like just the idea of like where it seems like, if you're piecing this all together, that from the first trailer, when the TVA went to recruit Deadpool, they put him through and said, "Look, this is the guy. You're going to need Wolverine," or somehow or another, he realizes he needs Wolverine, and they go after this particular one, because it seems like this is not this Deadpool's reality. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, no, it's a different Wolverine, different variant, different universe. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Because obviously we know that Wolverine is dead, the Fox Universe Wolverine. So this is a completely different one. And you're right, the TVA sending him. What is the reason for the TVA to send Deadpool after this particular Wolverine?
We don't know if he's dead though. Too, by the way, we don't know because the Fox Wolverine died at a certain point in time. That could have been after Deadpool's time. Right. So who knows? But nonetheless, I agree with you. I think it is a different Wolverine altogether. And this line about the whiskey dick thing was hilarious. And it just shows it's like this buddy cop thing that you're going to get between the two of them.
Yeah.
And you have to, because of the relationship just in general with Jackman and Reynolds.
Yeah. Well, it's that rarity where they're both equals, right? It's that rare buddy cop film where they're equals. And I like that you're getting that here. Like Tango and Cash. That's a buddy cop film that's pretty equal. 48 Hours, pretty equal in terms of the way that, although Reggie, I think, is a little bit behind Nick Nolte at times in that movie, but this is two definitely strong alphas who are going to go toe to toe and somehow come together. It's like Triple H and Stone Cold when they came together as a tag team. It was short lived because of Triple H quadriceps injury, but they were absolutely indestructible once they got on the same page. And you have that vibe watching these two guys.
Yeah, you do. And then you keep on going, and we'll just kind of see if there's anything we stop with. But yeah, he puts it and the F-bombs that they keep throwing out is letting you know right away, don't worry, we told you Disney's not gonna have any control over us throwing the F-bombs out there. And they within this trailer, like right away you feel it, and it doesn't feel like gratuitous, it feels like it fits. And then the little smile that he gives him, by the way, too, is incredible. And the use of Madonna's song was great.
Oh yeah,
really good.
Which I don't know if you saw that, but Ryan Reynolds tweeted it out. He retweeted what someone had posted, which is that song was dropped today, like back in 1989 on this date.
Was it really?
And Ryan's like, we had no idea. No idea
wow.
that was the truth. So there's a synergy going on here
Yeah.
from the universe type of thing. So
yeah, for real. That's great. That's great. All right. So great logo right away, setting you up that it's 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 the red, it's the yellow, and we are off to the races. And as this, the 20th Century Fox logo in the background. Now, what's that all about? Like, how are they going to explain that inside? I know that when they do normally when he breaks the third wall and all that stuff, that you've got, he even does it at the end when he says Feige said this, Feige said that, and you're like, okay, and he mentions X-Men, he mentions actors by names, but like you're going one step over when you're actually putting it into the story that there's a 20th Century Fox logo right there and you're fighting around it, what are they gonna do it in the way, because I didn't like the way that they did it in She-Hulk. I actually really disliked it.
You mean when she like went behind the curtain and had that come out?
Yeah, it just pulled because
it was so on the nose.
It was so on the nose, and it wasn't because people were, well, the whole time she was addressing the camera and she's doing the same thing Deadpool did, and she was, but it just didn't fit right. And I feel like the movement and the direction of this will make me go, okay, they did that in a clever enough way that I'm cool with it, but I still wonder, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I know. I love what they showed there, and I like that he's doing all the stuff to the camera as well. And I like Tatiana Maslany as an actress, but she's not known for being a comedian, right? And whereas Ryan is absolutely, that's his bread and butter, right? So Tatiana, at times, I thought it worked in certain scenes, and in other scenes it didn't. I didn't mind it so much when she went against the Kevin Feige robot. I just thought that scene went too long, and where it became very obvious what they were doing, right? As opposed to a little wink, wink. I think that's what's great about Ryan's the Deadpool stuff, is that it's quick. If you catch it, you catch it. If you don't catch it, don't catch it. They don't need to hang a lantern on it. Seeing the 20th Century Fox logo, like, we don't know where we're at. I speculate it might be Battle World, which is where all these kind of realities go to mix, and it leads to Secret Wars apparently down the road. Some people will speculate, and that's where Loki, like at the end of season 1 and Loki, where they go to that area, because some people think Alioth is in this thing. So I don't know. It's a lot of places. It could be a lot of places, but I'm sure it'll show itself obviously in the movie. But I like that we got this kind of wasteland that they have to fight in, and I wonder what the logo is there for too.
And and you're going to see them, because they both can't get they can get hurt, but they really can't die, and they're going to beat the piss out of each other throughout the movie. And we'll get to that. The first time he tries to recruit him, then they're going to get into this big brawl, and there might be a misdirect, but there's a scene where he goes, I don't know, I'm not really much of a hero, kid. And if he's talking to Deadpool, which I hope that he is, I hope that he is. If he's talking to Deadpool, then it's going to that little line right there will show you the kind of relationship they ultimately will form.
Yeah.
So if he's calling him kid, then they're going to be good buddies, and they should be. It's like they're going to respect one another. And if you look at Deadpool's overall personality and the kind of stuff Logan's gotten into, why wouldn't Logan like this guy?
Yeah, right. Eventually.
Eventually. At first, his mouth would probably piss him off, like
100%.
But and Deadpool already knows him, knows who he is, and knows enough about who Wolverine is. But that's always the fun thing with these movies and the X-Men movies is like, okay, well, one of them knows the other, and the other one's got to kind of convince him, and then they've got to get on the same page, and here we go. And that's what this seems to do thus far. And he even tells him, he's like, you have this whole setup in the beginning where you see all the cast of characters that we've known and loved in the Deadpool movies, and he's got a kind of the life that I guess he always wanted to. And that's probably when the TVA comes back. We saw that in the first trailer alone. And then something where he tells him, he's like, look, your universe is gonna die. What's this?
This is really interesting, and it's a nice element to throw in here. Just a little bit of a tease of what the backstory for this Wolverine might be, right? You let down your universe, or you couldn't save your universe. I've seen no one speculating what those stone structures are that have any kind of connection to the comics. It could be Genosha, as we just saw in the most recent X-Men 97 episode. Or it could be a version of Old Man Logan, which is what they borrowed for the Logan movie, but they didn't fully borrow the story. In Old Man Logan, the comic, he gets tricked into killing all the X-Men and carries that guilt with him. It seems like Charles did it in the Logan film, which is why he's taking care of him. But here it seems like it might be Wolverine who's been tricked. That could be Genosha. That could be.
Someone's saying a lot of people are saying these are Graves.
It could be graves, right? Those all could be X-Men graves for all we know. You know,
Right.
who knows? You know, and we
And then
just
it's like,
saw
what do
the
yeah.
Genosha wipeout. Yeah,
So he's definitely pissed off about this, and this is probably the conversation that gets him on board to figure it out. And then this scene, this is like clearly Deadpool must win the fight because he's subdued or
Right.
not, or someone helps him because the guy's face is all busted up too.
Yeah,
This dude.
Yeah.
So something happened. And they finally subdued him, and he's out cold there. And he said this guy let down his whole universe, and then we get into this big fight again. That's probably before right in the nut bag. That's hilarious. But this is probably right before that.
right.
And yeah, like I'm saying, this battle is going to be intense. This is the type of stuff, though, John, that I'm telling you. This is what I like. But when you have this already looks, and like any trailer, you could get the goods in the trailer and not get the goods in the movie.
Sure.
But from the way that they set this tone, this is the type of stuff that at least I'm looking forward to in these movies, where it's like, you're going to get your battles, and look, it's just two guys fighting in front of a big Fox logo, but it's going to be an intense fight, and you're not going to need all these stupid special effects flying around. You'll get that at the end. But there's going to be a big fight between the two of them, but it's going to connect to the story. You're going to care about the relationship, and they're going to spend $200 million on it, and it's earned it at this point. So it's not like out of nowhere. So I'm like, okay, why not?
You and I both know, right? As wrestling fans, and also Kristian, you started the Schmodown, and me being a part of it. Story is what sells. If you tell the story right, then the fight is what you're waiting for. You're building to the fight so that when you get to the fight, there's such a payoff if you do it right. And especially if you keep it grounded in this way, right? I saw a lot of people over the weekend, the Will Ospreay, Bryan Danielson match. It was like, oh, greatest match ever, blah, blah, blah. But like there was no story. You didn't care who won or who lost. Cody Roman, you were invested. You were so invested in that fight because of the story being told leading up to that matchup. And I think here, when we see this fight, the story is going to lay the groundwork for it so that when it's happening, we're really conflicted in watching it watching it go down. And that's going to be fun to see,
For sure. And so it's the big fight that ultimately leads to something. It's not just them throwing hands, and they have this conversation. They're kind of, even this is a little bit more of like on the playful side where he tells them, go F yourself. And then we move, it's just the press to July, the music's still pumping. This slow motion scene of them kind of going around the corner here, they're definitely looking for some shit. Whatever's coming up. And the yellow suit is looking fresh.
Yeah, I saw some people complaining that they didn't like him sleeveless, but he has worn the sleeveless uniform before, and I like it. If you're going to work this hard at Hugh Jackman's age to look this good, I don't think there's anything wrong with showing off the guns for guys.
And Wolverine's shown the sleeves before.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. And then
I'm curious about the copperhead sign, if that's just a bar sign or if that's a reference to the villain in the Captain America series in the Serpent.
I wonder because
I don't know.
All right, so then he basically, this is another this is probably what starts the fight.
Yeah,
this is probably where the fight starts. So because he's convincing them to do it, and he's probably telling them get lost, and this is the scene I'm talking about. Like I'm no hero kid, but you push forward to it, and they tells them how much you were like the first X-Men.
So
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, keep going. Sorry, go finish.
And then it's just there's a lot. This is what I like what they're doing. There's not too much. If you look, they're pulling from the same scenes.
Yeah.
Even when he's pulling the claws out, it looks like the way that they're putting it in the trailer is that they're looking to fight and they're going up against someone. This is probably just when he takes his claws out to fight Deadpool.
Yeah, absolutely. You can tell from the background and from up top. If you go back a little bit, what you were showing, there's a little bit of an Easter egg there because one of the signs on the shops right there, right behind him, it says Liefeld, which is
Rob Liefeld,
Rob Liefeld, who created Deadpool, and then it says feet, which is what Rob used to get shit for, was that you'd never see the character's feet in his comics, and so he used to get shit for that. It became a whole thing. So I love that they were even ribbing Liefeld a little bit in the show.
That's great. That's great. Cool. I didn't notice that at all. No. So and then
is it
Sokovia?
These it might be, but these are TVA soldiers. So why is Deadpool fighting TVA soldiers? What's the deal here? Has he figured out that the TVA are using him in some way? I just have questions about why he's killing TVA soldiers.
Unless so who is this? Who is this?
This is Cassandra Nova.
Okay,
right. And that is Emma Corrin, of course, who played Princess Diana, and she was recently in A Murder at the End of the World. But I think they identify as they are fantastic as an actress, and seeing them in this, I'm so excited. They're playing Cassandra Nova, who is in essence Charles Xavier's sister.
Okay.
They were born the character was born in the same womb as Charles, tried to kill Charles with an umbilical cord, but you find out later she is connected to the Shi'ar Empire, and so or Imperium, whatever it's called. But there's a lot here with her, and she has every bit of the powers that Charles has.
Well, then that answers your question about the TVA. She's probably controlling them.
Might be, and she's invested in death and destruction because she's a complete opposite of Charles, who's invested in unity and peace.
I've seen this
in death and destruction. So
I've seen this trailer 6 times now.
Yeah,
and I have to keep convincing myself that this guy in the bottom right is not Alonso Duralde. Every time I see it, I'm like, that's Alonso. I'm like, no.
That's great.
So then this is the beginning of that fight scene. See, they keep using the same scenes, and there's Nova again saying how silly the boys are.
Yeah,
and then whatever that is, like a
purple lightning. So
eyes.
We know that could be Alioth, as we see there. So is the purple stuff coming from the Loki situation? What is that from? So as we know, when we saw the end of season 1, and what Ant-Man? What are we talking about here? What is this?
His skull, and they even show a little bit of his skull, which is great. Yeah. So and then you get, apparently they said that like Toad's down here, and they have some people talked about there's like some people who did big breakdowns of this thing.
Yeah.
This shot there, people will tell us in the comment section who these people are, but apparently there's Toad's there. There's other people in there. Like, this is the beginning. Wherever they are in this part of the multiverse, when they jump through, shit's gone down, and Ant-Man has died somehow. And I'm very curious. This is the kind of stuff though that I wanted to see in Quantumania, like this kind of stuff. Like where he's going and he's different versions, because he says to him, he's like, haven't I killed you before? And you're like, oh, when are we going to see that?
Yeah. And
then they don't use that. They didn't use it. It seems like they're using the multiverse in the way that we were hoping they were going to in this. I don't want to get my hopes up too high, because I've been let down with them going, oh, they're finally going to use this thing in the way that they've been teasing it.
Right.
This could be it. This could be it.
As you said, some people are saying that Lady Deathstrike is down there, Toad, Callisto, and Starfish, and probably Azazel as well.
Interesting.
From X-Men First Class. So I wonder if they're all down there.
Yeah,
I love this. The different shots here. What is that old ass vehicle? What is that?
They look like Mad Max style too.
Right.
There's like one shot that's particularly Mad Max style, and then they have what's the dog pool, whatever, licking his face the whole time. It's not now as funny as this shot is with the two of them with him licking his face. It's Wolverine's reaction to it. That's even it's just like how disgusting it is. This is the Mad Max shot. That shot is about as Mad Max as you get.
Look at that. That's fucking badass.
It's so great. Who is that? I don't know. Was that Deadpool?
Actually, I don't know who that is.
But then going back to that shot, people blowing stuff up. You're going to get all the explosions that you want. And this, like you said,
this is awesome.
Yeah, that was great. That was that goes you giving the explanation of kind of who she was.
Yeah.
And then seeing that with ease, just putting him down there.
Yep.
That's going to be we need a good villain. We need a good villain in this one. Yeah. She might be the villain we're looking for. And then the let's fucking go on from both of them, like from there, and then this one, and then this shot. This is where I get my hopes up. Okay, we're playing with the multiverse. We're jumping right into the multiverse. Let's get to it. Let's play ball. And then of course you get the great main conversation, which was absolutely hilarious.
Leslie Uggams, we're having a nice little renaissance with her in American fiction, Fallout, and this too. She's great.
Nailed it. Like absolutely nailed it. It was that made me belly laugh, that whole scene, because it was that's the type of wall breaking that I'm like, because we all want to hear that stuff. We're like, because everybody was asking those questions. How is Deadpool going to fit into the Disney Marvel universe? And he's like, well, we're telling you, we're going to let you know. And then, Feige said no cocaine references. And then, but the really clever part of that whole joke is when they're going through all the different terminology, and she goes, do you want to build a snowman? And he's like, yes. And at first you think he's talking about like, yes, you can't, I mean that too. And he's like, but I can't right now. Really good. Really good. I was very much impressed with that. So, but that's it, man. All right, let's get back to our bet on the table.
Oof.
So now that you've seen this trailer and the excitement behind it, Are you taking me to a steak dinner or am I taking you? What do you think?
I think the odds have increased that I'll be taking you to a steak dinner for sure. I think the odds have absolutely increased that this could hit $1 billion. But I still have my because you just said a few minutes ago or a minute ago, like, I don't want to get my hopes up. I think there's a lot of people don't want to get their hopes up just yet. If it comes out and it's received really well, then great. But what I noticed on social media, and I tweeted about this today, like, there's a contingent of people who are upset at the trailer, at this movie, because they think that it's going to ruin Logan for them. And I had to push back on that because I'm like, guys, like,
who said that?
Yeah, movies always insular within themselves. Nothing they do is going to ruin Logan unless you let it ruin Logan for you.
Yeah, you let it. Yeah. I think that's such a small percentage of like that. I'll tell you, I didn't see it once. I believe it. It, but I didn't see it once. All I've seen so far are comments from my reaction, your reaction, things on the internet. People are losing their minds on this thing, thinking that this is going to be the one. They haven't had a great Marvel movie in probably since No Way Home, right?
And universally
great movie.
Appreciate a great movie.
There've been good movies, fine movies, but it hasn't been a great movie since No Way Home, and that was 2021, right? So they need a great movie to get them back on. Some people will say Shang-Chi. I thought it was a good movie. I didn't think it was a great movie. A good movie. I hated the ending. I thought the ending was with everything that made that movie special. It's everything that made that movie special. They negated it by putting in a typical Marvel ending with a stupid dragon flying around. It was dumb. But other than that, it's a good movie. But I think but we haven't a great movie in a bit, and this looks like it has the potential to be a great movie.
You're sensing that vibe, right? When you you feel like, okay, they got it right. And look, I haven't always been the biggest fan of Sean Levy as a director. I think he's a bit hit or miss because I did like Free Guy, but I didn't like the Atom Effect. So you're like, okay, is he going to get it right? But it feels like, because Ryan is very clear about what this Deadpool character and universe is, it feels like they might have gotten this right.
I stand corrected. The chat has told me Guardians 3 was a great movie.
Oh, right, fair.
Guardians 3 was a great movie. I know. Was it the three of us? Oh, you and I liked it. Dan didn't like it.
Yeah, it didn't cross $1 billion either. So
it got close. There's not the same type of hype on that movie. There was people were excited for that movie, no doubt. It was the closing out of Guardians. People were excited for it.
Right.
Doesn't have the same kind of. There's an electricity that you can feel with certain trailers, and this movie has that electricity. But people are right. Yeah, Guardians 3 to me was my favorite out of the three Guardians. So like that is a great movie. You guys are right. But I would say, you can at this point with Phase 3, whatever we were phase 4. For phase 4, you can basically throw a nickel and try to hit something, because it's like there's nothing out there. There's nothing out there. Just No Way Home and Guardians. Okay. So we have a couple other topics that I do want to talk about, but as I mentioned to people time and time again, and I've been so very, very thankful to you all, because every week after we have the conversation about our sponsors and I tell you guys about them, I get a note from somebody how they just got one. Someone just got a sponsor and they got it and they enjoyed it. And this helps out the show and you get yourself something. That to me is what I love about this so much. So I'm going to tell you about our sponsors right now. All right, guys, this episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. So BetterHelp, I've been telling you guys about BetterHelp for a while now. We've had a lot of people that they've been helped out by. So this is why the big thing is sponsored by BetterHelp, because what's the first thing you need to do? If you had an extra hour in your day, would you go for a run? Would you take a nap? Would you read a book? Would you show up for a friend? Well, the problem is a lot of us spend our lives wishing that we had more time. The question is, time for what? If time was unlimited, how would you use it? The best way to squeeze that special thing into your schedule is to know what's important to you and make it a priority. Therapy can help you find what matters to you so you can do more of it. So I've mentioned Roxy Stryer. She's talked about it many times. She's really benefited from BetterHelp. I've had people inside of my family that have benefited from BetterHelp because talking to someone helps. And if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's online, it's designed to be convenient, it's flexible, and it's suited to your schedule. You fill out a brief questionnaire, you get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists anytime, no additional charge. Learn to make time for what makes you happy with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/bigthing today and get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/bigthing. As we get older, I'll tell you, the bidets. Oh, I love the bidets. I wish I would. I got introduced to the bidet a long time ago with Tushy, and it is so what an invention. What an invention. At first you sit down and you want to feel classy. You want to show some class. You show some class by getting the bidet on your. I'm not going to say it. I could have rhymed, but I didn't. It's lovely. It's absolutely lovely. So let me tell you a little bit about it, because the next time you're sitting down on the toilet to squeeze out a big baseball bat, I'll tell you what happens. Hello Tushy wants you to remember one thing. The time that you're spending scrolling on your phone, it's not giving you peace of mind. You know what it's giving you? Hemorrhoids. That's right. Men spend twice as long in the bathroom. This is fact. I go into that bathroom sometimes for peace, but I wind up sitting trying to get some business done. And it is the one leading cause of hemorrhoids is prolonged sitting on the toilet. That's right. If you wipe with toilet paper, it's only going to irritate your butthole. That's what it's going to do. The Tushy, it cleans your butt with a targeted stream of fresh water, eliminating the need for painful wiping. So I really, really dig it. And it just feels nice. Again, I feel classy. I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel classy. That's the whole thing. So Tushy Bidet cleans your butt 2 times better and gentler than wiping with toilet paper. For the rest of your life, you can leave the bathroom sooner feeling confident that your butt's actually clean. The bidet easily attaches to your existing toilet. You know how long it takes? Under 10 minutes. 10 minutes. I was going to say 20. It's not true. It took me about 8 minutes without additional plumbing or electricity needed. Every Hello Tushy bidet comes with a 30-day hassle-free return and a 12-month warranty. So stop wiping until you bleed. Come on. Join the 3 million butts who've already made the switch to Tushy. For a limited time, our listeners get 10% off your entire order when you use the code BIGTHING at checkout. That's 10% off your order at HELLOTUSHY.com, HelloTushy.com. Promo code BIGTHING. Golfers, you know the PXG is on a mission to create the most high-quality, high-performance golf clubs in the game. Well, they're bringing the same passion for excellence to their new line of apparel, and I gotta say, they nailed it. I told Riley about this. Riley lost his mind. Riley was in the depths of having a new baby, but he was able to get some golfing in. I don't know how he did it, but he did it, and he loved it. He told me all about it. It was made with premium materials and technology designed for peak performance. These confidence-inspiring looks invite all-day play, taking you seamlessly from the course to the office to a night in the town. From golf trips to romantic getaways, these dynamic pieces add versatility and standout style to every event. PXG apparel has something for everyone. Pants, polos, sweaters, hats, quarter zips, joggers, jackets, skirts, everything that you want. I got this hat and this shirt, man. This shirt is slick. Love that shirt. It's my color too. I like that. So they're really comfortable. You guys know I like my hats. I like my black hats, and I like this hat. It's very comfortable, and I dig it. You'll see me wearing it a lot. It's great because they're designed for the course. They block out the sun. This shirt is really comfortable and perfect for the course. You can even wear it out. I will have meetings with this. I'll go to breakfast with this. Elevate your style game on and off the course with the PXG Spring Summer 2024 collection. You got to head on over to pxg.com/bigthing. You got to use that code though, BIGTHING, at checkout to save 10% on all apparel. All of my golfing friends are losing their minds with this stuff, and they're all asking me for stuff already. That's pxg.com/bigthing. Got to use that code BIGTHING to save 10% on apparel. pxg.com/bigthing. Use that code BIGTHING. All right. Thank you to our friends over at BetterHelp, Tushy, and PXG. I mean, John, I can tell you, I'm pretty blessed to have such great sponsors on the show. And we had like, are you a golfer?
I'll tell you this is not a lie. I have been playing for the last 6 months Tiger Woods PS5 golf game. It's PGA golf game.
Yeah.
I have become obsessed with this game. I've started to watch golf in a way that I've never watched before. I just watched the Masters, just watched the tournament that happened over the weekend.
Who won the Masters?
Today?
Who won the Masters?
Scheffler won. Scotty Scheffler won. Scotty Scheffler. So I watched it and I was like, it's time to pick up some clubs. So I am so the PXG thing seems like perfect timing for me being on the show with you, because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna explore this and get some golf wear once I get those clubs and get out there. And there's like 3 courses around where I live. So
great.
It's time to get me on the links, man.
I will. You should definitely get that for sure. Tushy's good for us too. Tushy. I'm loving Tushy, and of course, BetterHelp. So thank you to our friends over there. All right, we got some other stuff going on here, man. We got some big stories that are happening. And
What do you got?
What do you got? Give me all. First of all, did you see Aaron Boone get thrown out of the game because of some fan? Did you see that?
Yes, this morning I was watching it on Twitter. I was like, what the fuck?
Ridiculous.
Dude, you want to talk about snowflakes? If you're an umpire, man, you should be used to a little bit of shit from the fans. How do you not tell the difference between the voice of Aaron Boone and someone else's voice? What is wrong?
That's a bad umpire. That's a
bad
umpire. Okay, let's get to the story. Let's stick. We did mention in No Way Home, talking about Star Wars, Spider-Man. Tom Holland talked about his Spider-Man future.
Yeah.
Dark Horizons. After 2021's No Way Home became the highest grossing film in the franchise to date, you would think that Sony would be rushing to get another one into production. They are. it's not. They are. That hasn't been the case, but now it looks like the film is finally picking up steam with the director's search underway to replace John Watts, who has exited. Current Spider-Man star Tom Holland has downplayed his future with the franchise in past interviews. It seems, though, that his tune has changed when he appeared at the Sands International Film Festival in Scotland the other day. While he was there, he told Deadline he hopes to make a fourth film and beyond. Said the simple answer is that I'll always want to do Spider-Man films. I owe my life and career to Spider-Man, so the simple answer is yes, I'll always want to do more. Part of the reason for this is likely due to Holland having more involvement in the film's creative process this time around and indicating he has a say in the story. This is the first time in the process that I've been part of the creative so early. It's just a process where I'm watching and learning. It's just a really fun stage for me. Like I said, everybody wants it to happen, but we want to make sure we're not overdoing the same things. He also indicates they aren't that far along in the development stage with the story not yet cracked. We have the best in the business working toward whatever the story might be, but until we've cracked it, we have a legacy to protect. The third movie was so special in so many ways that we need to make sure we do the right thing. Previously, it was teased Sony aims to begin shooting in the back half of this year and that they've been having issues choosing between quite different takes on the material for the next one. This is going to be Sony shooting themselves in the foot if they don't realize that stay away from the multiverse stuff. Don't do it.
Yeah.
We've done it with Spider-Man already. You don't need it. Let him show up later on. Make this a street level, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man movie. They set this up at the end of the movie brilliantly. He's swinging around New York City. Maybe you connect it to Daredevil some way. Like, go that route. You make a smaller Spider-Man movie and you'll make hand over fist, but that's just me. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. And I think Tom agrees too. Tom's making it very clear. He wants to keep it ground-based. He says he doesn't want to overdo things that have already been done, which is the bringing in all the different Spider-Man and having a big, huge, extensive multiverse story. Because what's the big complaint that Spider-Man people have felt from the beginning with these 3 Spider-Man films with Tom Holland? He is almost never the focus. Even though it says Spider-Man this or that, he's almost never the focus. They always have to bring in Iron Man or bring in other Happy Hogan, bring in other people to help him prop up. And in the last one, they brought in 2 other Spider-Man to help him in his journey. So, like, where is that singular Tom Holland Spider-Man that doesn't need anybody else to come in and help him? And I think the way you kind of reboot after what happened at the end of No Way Home is to give him his own adventure, his own stuff. How's he processing the world without Mary Jane, without Ned knowing who he is, and the loss of Aunt May? Let's go. Right. Where are we going? So this will be interesting. A character piece I think would be fun to see mixed in with a new villain, mixed in with him using his powers.
Yes.
I agree with you, Kristian. You don't want to do too much, man.
No, but you also give him an opportunity, because I even had this conversation. We were talking about Sam Raimi potentially coming in for this movie, is what the rumor was, right? Which I hope isn't true. But the argument that some people will swear by, most people swear by Spider-Man 1 and 2 over any of the Tom Holland films, right? I don't. I feel like I have rewatched and I have a better appreciation for those movies. I still think they're really fun movies, but I've gotten a better appreciation for 1 and 2, and I think that they're good. They're really good movies. They are really good movies. And Spider-Man 2 is a really well done movie. They're a little bit a product of their time when you watch it. There's some cheesiness and stuff in them, but what both Andrew Garfield from the movies later on and Tobey Maguire for those Raimi movies, they had a chance to shine in the street level Spider-Man way.
Yeah,
You don't have to rely on the Marvel characters, and that was the argument that I keep seeing
Right.
people like, well, the reason why you like it so much is because there's it's the Spider-Man basically just relying on the Avengers, and he's kind of like a Marvel fanboy and this and that. I'm like, no, I don't. I actually think he captures the essence of what Spider-Man is, and I would actually really like to see him in those positions of a street level Spider-Man, so he can get that kind of movie, because he hasn't had it yet. Because agreeing with those people, he has had Marvel MCU movies and connecting to the Avengers all the time, connecting to Iron Man. Let him have his own street level thing.
Yeah, I agree. And the thing is, my favorite scenes in those Tom Holland Spider-Man films are the ones without the Avengers, the ones where he is like trying to figure things out, when he's at the Washington Monument trying to save his class and trying to save Ned and MJ, when he's doing these things in Spider-Man 2. There's trying to figure out stuff there in Europe and where he belongs and where his place is. All of that is so interesting. And then, of course, in No Way Home, the same thing. The loss of Aunt May, him processing that, him having that conversation with MJ on the roof, like, that is really powerful stuff. The stuff with Ned is really sweet and touching as friends, young friends. So you love those elements of it. So to me, yes, the Avengers stuff and the MCU stuff is always tied in for sure. But my favorite scenes are when I get Tom Holland to myself and get to enjoy him and the characters around him who are at his level in his high school and what have you. That's the best part.
I agree. And I really hope that, from the rumors, we don't have confirmation on it, but the rumors are that it's Marvel that actually wants to do the street level Spider-Man. It's Marvel that wants to make it a more grounded Spider-Man. And you guys have confirmation on this?
It's basically Marvel. It's Feige who wants to do the ground base, and it's I think Rothman over at Sony who wants to do
Pascal, or no, she's not there anymore, right?
No, Amy's the producer, so she's the freelance producer. But no, I think it's Rothman who wants to do the bigger thing. So they're having the battle. So Tom coming out publicly and saying, I want it to be a little more of a smaller story. I want it to be ground based. We want to get it right, because all these rumors are coming out that they were starting to shoot in like 4 months.
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, what's the truth? And Tom seems to be pouring water on all of that to calm people down a little bit until they get it right. So
yeah, I hope that he is able to throw his weight around a little bit and they push Sony, because Sony has proven they don't know how to do these movies. They don't know how to do this universe. They just don't. It's like this. If I'm them at this point, look, you're collecting the money on it anyway. Your property. Just sit back and let them do the work for you. They've shown you already how much they know the property. And they're going to make you money. At this point, sit back. We're like, hey guys, look, we took a shot with Madame Web. We got Craven the Fart Hunter coming out soon. That's not going to do that well. We've got Morbius and all this stuff coming out that's not working. How about we just let them do it and we collect the checks? Is that cool?
That's a smarter move. Yeah. If Venom 3 crashes and Craven crashes, that's like 4 or 5 in a row. And at that point, you've got to reevaluate things, man.
I don't think Venom is going to crash. I think I don't think it's going to make the kind of money that the first one did, because the second one showed that people were kind of getting a little tired of it. But they speaking of Venom, we might as well just stay in this universe. They actually pushed it back. Oh, do I have thought I had a Venom story? Maybe I don't. But I thought that Venom, I think that they pushed Venom back from what I saw. Yeah, Venom: The Last Dance gets moved up. Actually, moved up. So let's see. It is supposed to be coming out, as originally slated for November 8th. Now it's coming out on October 25th.
Hey.
I think that's a good move.
Okay.
I think it's a good move. I think stay out of November. November starts to get really hairy. October, the end of October. I think that they've had their movies in October. And if I remember correctly, I think that their past movies came out in October. I could be wrong. But this is a good play. Let it play at the end through Halloween. See if you can take the first bit of November. I don't mind this move. I think it's a smart move.
Yeah, you're right. Venom came out on October 5th of 2018. So that's correct. And October 1st was Venom 2. So you're right. So the move to October 25th, although later than they have usually dropped these in October, makes a lot of sense as well. It's an interesting time to drop it there at that time, but they clearly must feel like they can make some money off this thing and get it out there as soon as possible.
Yeah. I've heard, well, I got an inside scoop from, I'll say this, that someone who saw the new Venom said so bad.
Oh no!
Someone who saw a lot of it, but I don't know if Who knows? Who knows? But
Both
I mean,
of them have been terrible, for fuck's sake. I don't care what the box office says. They're both terrible.
The first, that's true. I did not. I understood what they went for in the first movie.
Sure.
I understand that kind of. I'm also not a big fan of it, and I was so bummed that the second one wasn't good because I love Andy Serkis. Andy Serkis is my favorite individuals in the world. Is actor, director, human being. I love Andy Serkis. So I was so bummed when that movie didn't. I thought that was going to be kind of a saving grace on it.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's this movie is, if you, like you said, if it poops the bed, if it's bad and does bad box office wise, Sony just needs to say, okay, hey, you know what, Marvel, just what do you guys want to do with it? We'll make a deal with you. You guys, let's do our deal that we're doing. Why wouldn't they do this in the first place? If just you do your deal, let's collect. You know, we might not make as much as we would if you weren't involved, but we're actually making more with you involved because our movies are doing shit.
Yeah. Well, it's ego, isn't it? The studio wants it. They want to be able to make it and pull it back. And, I think I wish they'd split it and go like, okay, Sony, you keep all the animated stuff and do all that Spider-Verse shit, knock yourself out, and then let Marvel have the live action Spider-Man and they can do what they want to do with it. So, because they don't have a Feige over there that understands this property quite the way that they should. Clearly.
No, they don't. I want to switch things up though, and I want to talk about this. I think you and I talked about this briefly. I know that so bummed about it. I lost my show last week. But Roxy and I on that lost episode talked about the binge stuff going on with Fallout.
You lost an episode? Oh, I'm sorry, bud.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was a dopey move on my end. I was trying to clear out my entire, because on my OBS, it was just my shot was moving a little slower. I'm like, it's because I have a lot of video files. I have a lot of video files. So I said I did all my shows already. So I deleted all of them, and I'm like, well, I got to get rid of them out of the trash, otherwise it's not going to do anything. So I delete them out of my trash, and I'm like, all right, now let me upload my episode with Roxy and Brad. Oh wait, I haven't edited yet. Oh no.
Oh no.
And I tried to, and people like, well, just go back into the trash. I'm like, I deleted the trash.
Yeah.
And then I went to all these different programs. I spent hours on it, and I just did like my own kind of Q&A thing. It was such a good conversation all the way around. I was so bummed that I lost it. But in that conversation, we talked about Fallout being on this binge model thing, and now there's this big debate going around. And so this is from Dark Horizons. Says various streaming services adopt different release models. Netflix made its name on the binge release model with entire seasons released all at once, though it occasionally has dabbled with weekly releases, especially in the non-scripted format. Disney Plus strictly followed the weekly release strategy until recently, when they made an exception for Echo, which came out in a binge format and performed well for them. Apple adopted the approach of releasing 2 to 3 episodes at once and then weekly releases of the remainder over the next month or so, with others following a similar strategy. Amazon Prime Video, on the other hand, has mixed and matched. Its biggest success stories, The Boys and Reacher, both launched their first seasons via the binge watch approach, but subsequent seasons did the Apple TV Plus approach with a few episodes up front, followed by weekly releases. The other saw Amazon debut the high-profile Fallout series and surprisingly released the entire season at once, as opposed to a weekly release schedule, marking a rare foray into binge-watching territory for the major Netflix rival. It also resulted in debate over whether the series should opted for a weekly release pattern. Speaking with Collider co-runner and showrunner Graham Wagner says every potential release pattern for the series was debated before they settled on the binge model. Part of the reason they did it is the idea of appointment viewing has kind of died off these days. No, it has not. That is not true at all. That is what? Yeah, that is wrong. Sorry, wrong. This is the quote. We were on either side of it at various points of the conversation because I think we're all trying to decide how to do this in this new sort of normal. Part of it for us was we're missing our must-see TV night. Sunday night was a great night to come out, and even if you didn't like one of the shows, you might watch because there were 4 shows sort of lashed together and are really sort of ritualized. I mean, I agree with that. I don't know what night we would have chosen if it was weekly. I know Disney does Wednesdays at midnight. They've changed that up, though. I don't know if that's as a viewer working for me. It's not appointment viewing to stay up till midnight and watch, Ahsoka or whatever you have. I want to watch those shows, but yeah, one of the streamers takes a night and claims that I think the binge model is going to persist. A quick search across media outlets reveals a bunch of recap and article writers pushing for weekly releases in the belief it generates more discourse and understandably more paid work for them. Wagner points out there are advantages and disadvantages to going weekly, to which he says, listen, it could go either way, and I think some fans love the bingeable model. Then, when certain shows are released weekly anyway, it can help the show, right? Because there's this discourse, of course. That's what we were after. Sometimes with a show like this, the discourse can backfire, and then you see your end coming. I think someone a long time ago said there's no writer's room that can compete with Reddit. It's like 10,000 geniuses working 24/7. They're going to get ahead of you. So I think in the sort of 8-episode model, binging works quite well. I mean, there's more to it, but I couldn't disagree more with the majority of all those comments.
Yeah.
I think that is just someone who is saying, no, we like what we did and it works better. And I'll tell you why. You're wrong. You're just wrong. Your show is already, had it not been for this conversation, your show, which people love, is already being forgotten.
Yeah.
Because it's you dumped it all and no one's talking about it now. And there is, what do you mean there's no more appointment viewing? Game of Thrones. What are you talking about?
House of Dragon. Yeah,
House of the Dragon. And when you're talking about even when you mentioned Ahsoka, by the way, Ahsoka was weekly, and it was they changed it to 6 p.m. now because I think they kind of caught on. Congratulations on the show, but those comments I feel were absolutely wrong.
Yeah. I think they know they made a mistake, and this is all backtracking and trying to cover it up and say, oh, we explored everything. We figured it, we made this decision. But yeah, and also, how can you not be aware of the appointment watching television that is going on? Yeah, I mean, just do a quick perusal of YouTube, and you could see people are dropping reactions like the day of, the night of. Those things are because they know people are going to watch. People are watching these things. They're looking forward to these things dropping. They're aware of when they're dropping. Like Apple drops all their stuff on Fridays. That's all the new episodes on Apple and Disney Tuesday night into Wednesday. This Shogun has been dropping Monday night into Tuesday. So people are aware when the show is good enough, you create appointment viewing. You create it when the show is good enough. Yes, he's right that it's not like must-see TV, NBC owns Thursday night. Yes, those days have been done for about 2 decades now. But if your show is good enough, people have shown you that they will create appointment viewing wherever you put it. And it doesn't matter if you're competing with other shows, because if people love your show, they will set aside time to watch it. So I think maybe they're just backtracking a little bit, trying to cover their butts a little bit on this one, because a lot of people are saying what a colossal mistake this was, because this show was excellent. Absolutely excellent, man.
I just someone said put a poll up, so I just did. And I put a poll up to say, so you guys can vote on it and say whether or not you think it's
Last of Us. That's another one.
Appointment viewing, or rather binge model or week to week. What do you guys prefer? I put the poll in there. We'll read it at the end of the show.
Okay,
you can tell me what you think there. But someone's like, well, you're talking about it. Yeah, we're talking about it because we're talking about the binge model thing. There's a story that I would have had that story not been a thing, we wouldn't be talking about it.
Right.
So it's people, or if it came up to like, well, what'd you like better? And then, oh, Fallout was good. Yeah. I wish they would have done week to week, because you'd be on episode 2 or 3 right now.
You want to talk about it in a positive way. Yes, we're talking about the mistakes they've made. That's not when you want to be talked about. So there's a difference.
And that's the other thing, is that it's hard for me, especially if you watch my show, it's hard for me to catch up on stuff in general. Shogun is my fault. That's week to week. Week to week. So I should have and jumped on it when I there's no one's fault except my own. Fallout, I finished the first episode, but then I'm like, okay, I'll get to it. And by the time I get to it, no one will be even talking about that show, and I'll just have to watch it on my own show. At my own time. Like, I'll just figure it out at some point. I'll watch it. I'm not like running back to watch it now, because I'm like, oh, I want to be part of the conversation. I want to get everybody, if we're talking about it. But now it's like, oh, I'll just get to it when I get to it. And I'll probably do what I did with The Boys. I had missed The Boys for so long. I finally watched it before the new season came out. So I might do that. I'll probably watch Fallout 1 now before season 2 comes out. But the binge model, I think the only reason Netflix did it, because they were the only game in town.
Right.
And it's a stupid thing. I mean, I couldn't believe how much I disagree with everything that showrunner said.
Yeah.
Wrong.
Yeah. And look, and here's the thing: you want your show to grow, right? I mean, Shogun has been growing every week because people can't stop talking about it.
Right.
Fallout is based on a video game series, and yes, The video game stuff, they've gotten better over the last few years, but it's still not where, oh my God, a video game adaptation, I got to watch it for the mainstream public, right? So they want to dive into something that is this layered, this nuanced, this complex, this interesting. Then you want to drop it week to week. So then you get all the people who are generating YouTube content to like analyze what's going on, do their theories. All of that shit bubbles into the mainstream, and then people start watching more and more. So your numbers go up. I bet if their numbers now versus the numbers Binge are astronomically different, like would just be massively different. And that's the mistake you make,
100%, 100%. And I think that's what it's. Yeah, it's just it's a bummer. It's a bummer that but look, the show still did very good. And someone mentioned, by the way, with Echo, and they mentioned in the article, and someone mentioned in the comments, Echo was probably the right decision to dump that all at once. And
100%.
From what I remember, because that article said Echo did well. From what I remember, the initial report said it did well, but then on further investigation, it didn't. I don't know if that's true or not. Somebody can fact check me on that, but that's what I thought. But that show, from rumors that I heard, was they were going to scrap that show and they didn't know what to do with that show. So let's just dump it and put it all in and hope for the best. And that's what they did. And sometimes that will happen, because that show, had you put episodes 1 and 2 out week to week, no one would have come back.
You're right. You're 100% right. Look, it's not a terrible show.
Fine.
It's a watchable show, in my opinion, but not enough of it worked to make it appointment viewing. I 100% agree with you that.
Yeah, and I think it's just that comes down to it, is that the question is, how much confidence do you have in your show?
Yeah.
Right? Because like when you've got this kind of show and the kind of hype behind the trailer already, go week to week. I mean, look, Reacher is a good example, because you weren't wrong last week when we talked about it. You said, "Oh, I thought it was all bingeable." The first season was. And then they go, "No, let's do it. We'll do the first 2 and then week to week." And that was the better. People were talking about that show for a bit.
Well, same thing may happen here, Kristian. Like they didn't, maybe they didn't understand what they had in this show.
Right.
Now that they know it's a good show, I guarantee season 2 will be week to week. Guarantee it.
I hope so. Anyway, I see some more questions coming in there, so I think we're going to get to the questions here, man. I think because we got a ton of them, so I think we covered the Deadpool thing. If there's anything that we didn't talk as far as main topic that people want us to talk about, let us know. But before we do, real quick break, and then we'll come right back. Vessi. So John, I got these new shoes, and they have it's like rain wear. It's really it's incredible. They sent it to me a while ago, but I'm so excited to tell them about them. For us, I want to tell you that Vessi has this innovative, it's like footwear, and it's designed for spring weather. It's great. So Stormburst Vessis are the ones that I really want to kind of emphasize, and they're your go-to for every setting, city streets to outdoor adventures, enhancing your style and activity with ease. So you can, whether it's snowy trails, wet streets, morning dew walk. So whether you're facing unexpected snow or slippery paths, it's so crucial in general to have these. I'm planning a move. I've talked about this, but it's been raining a lot in LA, and I've been wearing my Vesties everywhere. And you guys seen it. I've been wearing the one hoodie that I have that they sent me. I love it. It's one of my favorite things. I love these hoodies. I've worn it on in so many different videos. They have all-weather, all-occasion footwear, from beach days to snowy commutes. They have so many different things. You should elevate your spring wardrobe when you travel with Vessi's Stormburst shoes. You can discover more at vessi.com/bigthing. Get your pair today and get an automatic 15% off your first purchase at checkout, and be ready to step out into style. It is great stuff. I love Vessi. Really. Let me tell you guys about Nutrafol. I'm going to tell you guys about Nutrafol. I'm very excited to tell you about Nutrafol. I've told you about Nutrafol many times over, and I've gotten people, and Nutrafol even said, we're back because the audience is listening, and they're checking it out, and it's working. Because if you didn't know, did you know that 80% of men are going to experience hair thinning in their lifetime? Because it's normal. It doesn't have to be your fate. You can get ahead of it with Nutrafol. What is it? Well, it's a clinically tested hair growth supplement for men. A lot of times you blame genetics, but there are multiple things at play when it comes to hair thinning. So what is Nutrafol? It is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, with over 1 million people seeing thicker, stronger, faster growing hair with less shedding. You can take the first step to visibly thicker, healthier hair. And for a limited time, Nutrafol is going to offer our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com/men, you got to enter that promo code Big Thing. You can find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and hairstylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com/men. Nutrafol.com/men. You got to enter that code Big Thing. Nutrafol.com/men. Promo code Big Thing. Very excited to have them on board. Thank you to Nutrafol and to my Vessies. Love my Vessies. You guys will love them too. Some people said they already got them, signed up for them. We fixed that link. So people have been signing up to Vessi. It really helps out a lot, man. So thank you to Nutrafol. Thank you to Vessi. And thank you to John Rocha. What's up, John?
Thank you. I love Vessi. Yeah,
Oh man, no joke. I love Vessi, and especially because we're going this bad weather I'm about to move into.
For sure.
So, all right, let's get to some questions, man, because we got a ton of them. And like we said in the beginning, you guys throw in your comments, your super chats, and we will get to them.
Yeah.
Right now, John, the poll currently at about 176 votes, week to week, 76% over Binge. No surprise. No surprise. Okay, so let's start. We're gonna start.
Remember Three Body Problem? That was 2 weeks ago. No one's talking about it.
I know, and that was a dump. Yeah, I know it was another dump. I mean, I liked the show, but that was the one, and it took taking me a while. Still haven't finished it. It's like you gotta. That's the other thing that people got to realize.
Yeah,
is that when it comes to people who are really into all the pop culture stuff and they're gonna jump at it and watch it and binge it. People who are just like your average Joe, if you will, that. You got to give them time.
Yeah.
You got to give them time. I'm going to watch it. I didn't have a chance. And they have another show I got to binge. And they got another show I got to binge. It's like,
10 hours. Ugh.
Too much. We're going to start with our buddy Mike Joyce.
Hey.
Scargiver has awful reviews. Scargiver?
Yeah, the Rebel Moon.
Is that what it's called? It's
Yeah,
called Rebel Scargiver. Did you watch it?
I am an hour into. I'm going to finish it after we're done today.
Is it? Oh, you see, you don't have an excuse about watching an hour. It must be brutal, huh? Yeah. Is it not good?
I love Zach, but
it's bad, huh? Because you liked the first one.
I did. I liked the first one for what it was trying to do. I recognize all the faults in it. Don't get me wrong, people. But I was like, okay, maybe he's going to correct some stuff in the second one. But how he corrected it, I'm like, I don't understand the logic here. So yeah.
Not good. I heard. I did not see it. And I don't know. It's not his question. Is it over for Snyder? No. He's not over for Snyder. Mad Sinister McCall watched Late Night with the Devil and lost 30 minutes of sleep. It's a very creepy movie. Have you seen any movies that cause you a restless night? Any particular scary scene? The only thing that I can remember, Ellis and I were doing every single movie, and I think it was Paranormal Activity 3, the scene with the fan. Is that the one? And I lived in this place when I lived around the corner from you. And and I lived in this place where I would pull into my garage, and it was right off this alley, but it was such a creepy garage. And I remember getting out of the car, and my coffee mug fell out and broke. And I just said, I'll clean it up tomorrow. And I left, and I ran out of that thing and just went into my house because I was like, that was creepy, that movie. But that's the only one that I thought of.
I agree with that. Paranormal Activity, just that first film, just the idea of a demon living in your attic, man. That's some scary ass shit. And when you're Latino, grown up Catholic, the idea of a devil and demons and God and religion and Jesus, that's all shit is ingrained inside you. So I get all freaked out when I see that kind of stuff.
Yep.
It's probably why I haven't seen First Omen or Immaculata yet, because I don't want to put myself through it, although I need to.
It's just a lot of throwing up in First Omen. It's really, people like that. I will tell you, Abigail was fun though.
I'm seeing this either later today or tomorrow morning.
Abigail was fun, and it was because it's funny. It's a funny movie. I liked Abigail. Ralph,
hey,
thanks, Kristian, for defending Scorsese on Capes and Cows. It's been 5 years since he made those comments. These comic fans need to let it go. Holy hell! I hope you guys are feeling good after going after an 83-year-old man. So yeah, what I said was didn't necessarily defend his thoughts, but what he said, but it's just like when they're going after a guy who's 83 years old and he's talking about a comic movie. I will say though, he said his comments are 5 years old. It seems like he takes a shot at comic movies every 6 months.
Yeah.
But the thing is, as I said, he's 83 years old. And if you guys, whether it's your parents or wherever it is, they ain't changing the way that they think. And in the same way that you will, and I do already, listen to my kids' music going, our music was better. Our music was better. And
that isn't rap.
Yeah. And our parents said the same thing about what are you listening to? This is terrible. This isn't music. Scorsese's 82. So when he says something about it, it's like, what are you getting all up in arms for? He's 80, he's 82 years old, and let him shake his fist on the porch about comic book movies. Who cares? It's not going to affect the box office.
Yeah. And he's got it right. And I just think people need a sacrificial cow, and they go after him or Coppola, right? They always go after Scorsese or Coppola. It's so frustrating. Like,
Scorsese doesn't care.
No, gives two shits.
He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care at all. So that's why it doesn't bother me. Or it's like, I don't believe. I think his comments are wrong. I think right, the fact that you can absolutely like Godzilla was cinema.
Yeah.
Godzilla -1 was cinema.
That was cinema.
You can turn, and you can have movies that are like Captain America's or Winter Soldier. To me, cinema. There are movies that are Logan, cinema.
100%.
Absolutely, you can have movies that really hit you in your core. The comments were wrong,
right?
But I don't give a shit that he said them, because he's an 82-year-old man, and I'm going to see everything that he puts out, and I love him to death. But I don't care. It's the same way that Grandpa, stop saying that. Who cares?
Plus, that fucker's on TikTok, so you can see Scorsese on TikTok. With his, I think, granddaughter. It's funny.
Ralph following it up. I agree with Rocha. Scorsese as a has-been and washed up.
I never said that.
What?
I never said that.
What? Legendary director Greta Gerwig is clearly the right choice for a Sinatra biopic. Just kidding. He's just kidding.
No, my point is that he is too old to do the 37-year-old Sinatra at the height of his powers.
I don't know. I mean,
in my opinion.
But here's the reason I'll push back on that.
Got to be edgy, man. Got to be sharp.
So he wasn't okay. So he's 80. He's 82 now. So he was 72 when he made Wolf of Wall Street.
That was great.
That had edge.
That ain't Sinatra, man. Jacob,
you said that's two different things. You said it's got to have edge, and I always quote to DiCaprio when he said the guy's 72 years old and he's still making punk rock. He's still, and this isn't like someone like, if he was gonna make like an Eminem biopic, I'd be like, I don't know if that's the guy to do it, but Sinatra. I think he can. I think he knows that world. He can tap back into the youth of that time, because he lived it. So if he was trying to make a thing about somebody in their 20s and 30s in 1998, then I'd be like, I don't know, man. Or even 10 years ago, I don't know. But I like the choice, and I like their team up, so I give him the benefit of the doubt.
I like JB's comments. First, Rocha went after The Rock. Now he's going after Scorsese. Does Rocha's
turncoat? That is an angle that I would have went with you in the Schmodown. We get like turncoat shirts.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Turncoat.
Pete Parker, 2288. Where do you both stand on Zack Snyder as a filmmaker? Do you think he should stick to adapting comics instead of his own original ideas? I mean, hard to say, because the thing is, I think that what he does, I think he just needs to. What I want to see him do is what Guy Ritchie did. Guy Ritchie had such a particular style with the way he was shooting things, that you always knew it was a Guy Ritchie movie, and you're like, he's just going style over substance now, and he flipped it on its head. And he gave you a movie like, whether it's Aladdin, which you couldn't tell that it was him at all, Covenant,
great.
Gentleman, and then this one that he just did with the Ministry of Ungenuine Warfare,
which was damn good.
I like that movie a lot. It was a lot of fun.
So
but he's turned it on his head, and he's done some different things. Zack Snyder abuses slow motion. He abuses it, and it's like, and he's got cool stories that, like, he's in the middle of this. Like, I only saw the first half of part 1 of Rebel Moon, and I love Sophia, and she's going into this fight, and she's about to fight, and it's like this emotional buildup, and here's this fight, and then it's like, stop. You just took me out of the whole moment because you want to show me how cool slow motion looks. And it's like stuff like that. I'm like, I don't know what the problem is with part 2. And I don't know if he's great with actors' performances, is what I've noticed too. Because I thought that Ray Fisher was really bad in that first movie.
Yeah, I wonder about Ray, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
because I thought Sophia did a nice job in that first movie, even though there were issues with, as you said, some of the things. But the thing is, when you look at Zack now, we've got enough movies under Zack's belt.
Yeah,
we can really do an assessment of Zack, and he's very much a hit or miss filmmaker, right? Like, I love 300, but that original cut of Watchmen is not good. The director's cut is better. Sucker Punch, terrible. I love Man of Steel, didn't like BVS. I like his Justice League. I like Army of the Dead. Rebel Moon, kind of middling. So part 2, I don't know how it's going to be. So he's a hit or miss guy. But whatever it is, I think he's the greatest cinematographer who decided to become a director. And because his visuals are second to none.
Yeah, it's a great visual. Great visuals.
The problem is the story, and as you said, the performances. So the human elements, that's where I think he has trouble in telling relationships.
Yeah. Okay, Carlton Rudder. Good evening from the UK. You're at the theater, and there are only 2 films showing: Joker, Folie à Deux, or Deadpool and Wolverine. Which one gets your money? It's not fair because that trailer just dropped today. It's not fair to Joker because I mean I really want to see that movie, but I think on my anticipated list, I think Deadpool is higher. So I'm gonna go with Deadpool and Wolverine because I'm invested enough in the story for where my fingers are crossed that the MCU can get back on track, and I've invested in this long television show since Iron Man 1. That I want to see where it goes and if they can put it back on track. And I want to see all the fun cameos and all that. So I probably would take Deadpool. Although if somebody said there's Deadpool Wolverine, and I wound up going into Joker 2 by accident, I wouldn't be upset.
Yeah, no, Joker Folie à Deux is my choice just because that speaks my language more, because I know that's going to be fucking cinema. Whereas this Deadpool Wolverine is going to be fun. So I can wait on that. But Joker Folie à Deux, I got to see if they get a sequel right. Got to see it.
Victor Garrity. Thank you to John, who's always been an example of what a strong, emotionally intelligent man is. You've helped me, and I'm sure many others.
Oh, stop.
There you go.
That's very kind. Thank you, Victor. Thank you.
Should have followed him behind the scenes at a Schmodown.
I mean, please.
Speaking of which, Murphadurf, besides you both, who are your top 5 Schmodown players?
Is Kristian in the top 5? Are you in the top 5 Schmodown players?
If you're talking about, like, when people would talk,
you had so much distraction,
I would at one point when I was playing, I had a good run, a good run and an overall.
You got to the title. You won the title.
Yeah, I wouldn't put myself anywhere near that. If I'm allowed to put John in there, I think I am. But you're saying besides you both, and again, I'm going to piss people off, but I'm just going to the top 5 that are. But it depends on what we're talking about with Schmodown players. Are we talking about just the trivia players?
Right.
Or are we talking about an overall package of what makes a Schmodown player?
Right. Agreed.
So I'm going to go with that. Okay. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to put Rocha. I'm going to put Merle, Marisol. Man, Kevin Smets. Kalinowski. Sorry, Kev.
You got to put.
I got to put Kalinowski. And then, like, player, I have to put Rachel Cushing up there. But but to her own admission, she knew that the theatrical part of it was not the thing she loved. Clark Wolf's another one who Clark Wolf could play into the characters. Clark would get very close to my top because Clark was a battle horse. I mean, she would play. So those are the and Chandra's another one. Chandra's one of my favorites.
I feel like you're leaving out Ethan. Ethan turned
it at the end.
Yeah.
Remember, we're not talking about trivia. If it was trivia, then yes, Ethan.
Oh, right. Character wise.
I'm talking about everything because Andrew Guy is another. Andrew Guy would be up there right away with me, and Ben Bateman, other ones too. Ben Bateman probably up there as well for me because the way that Ben kind of turns around, started playing character, and so Ben's up there. But like Andrew will, again, as where I just talked about with Rachel, who said the strong points of her character wasn't the thing.
Yeah,
Andrew's trivia wasn't the strong. Its character was. I mean, next I would put you two as the 2 best characters of all time.
Me and who?
And Guy.
Wow.
I mean, I think
Kalinowski. That's strong. Okay.
Yeah. Kalinowski was good, but Kalinowski could break character sometimes and break like the heel stuff. And as a wrestling fan, like when you're a heel, you got to go heel.
Yeah.
And when Kalinowski would play heel, sometimes he'd play tweener, and he was great. But I put him up there in character wise.
Yeah.
But my overall definition.
He was going Guy. He was great.
Yeah. So I don't know. So those there's a lot, and there's probably tons of them that I left out. But like those are the ones that pop into my mind.
Levine's not a character. Levine was just like people put Levine. Levine was a great trivia guy who was basically Sam Levine. It was not. It was not an extension.
Phenomenal actor and could play it. And anytime I asked him to do a scene, nailed it.
Yes.
Again, we're not talking trivia players. Trivia players, yeah, he's definitely in the conversation for the number 1 to 2 or 3 spot for sure. Yeah. But when it comes to, I'm talking about the overall package, and that's why and around like Chandru.
Yeah.
People were talking about best match. Kalinowski versus Chandru is one of my favorite matches of all time. The one we did at the Cantina.
Dude,
it is the pack. It is when people ask you what is the what is the schmodown? That is the schmodown. That match.
Watching that match on screen,
yeah,
you could feel the tension in the room. And I'm not even in the fucking room.
No, I loved that match. Right. I loved that. They both got it. And Chandru was a guy that just turned me around immediately, because when he first came into it, I found him obnoxious in a way that I was like, in the way things he was doing, he would play like heel when he's supposed to be a good guy. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And he would call people and say things. I'm getting my shot over you. I'm like, what are you doing?
The great ones.
I'm like, I can't keep you as a good guy because you're acting like a turd.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, and I said, how do you feel about playing a bad guy? And he's like, I'll try it. And he was phenomenal. And he would do it. I love Chandru. I love Chandru.
Chandru's one of my favorites. Oh, I liked him from the beginning, because I liked that he was like, fuck you from the beginning to everybody. Yeah. I loved it. As an outlaw, I love another outlaw. And he was definitely that way.
And two others that if we would have had more time with them, Brother Lomas and Rick Radis.
100%.
Those guys, I wish that they would have been in the league in season 3, because those guys
exchange, son. Those guys were great.
Those guys, I both of them, and just never complained about a goddamn thing.
They were happy to do it.
They just did it and just played. And Radis won. Radis was like 4-1 or something.
Yeah,
Radis was good. And yeah, still there's tons of people, and I'm sure I left people out of it too, but there's a lot. Okay. Victor Garrity, I need a remake of Dumb and Dumber with Godzilla and Kong in the bathroom scene, and Godzilla telling Mothra, so you're saying there's a chance. I'll tell you what, if someone did that over those stupid Winnie the Pooh movies, I'm down. I'm down.
Fair enough.
Mad Sinister Macau, who's the person you want to interview the most? John, you can answer this. Who's
the person you want to interview the most?
Come on.
Well, I've already interviewed The Rock, and I've interviewed Stallone. I've interviewed Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
Shit. Who's left? Maybe Tarantino.
We almost got Tarantino on Schmo. He was watching Schmo's the live show. He watched it. He was a fan. He was a fan of it, and his assistant reached out to us a handful of times. We were coordinating it, and and he was shooting something, so it never happened. And it was supposed to have. We had like, it went so far. We had dates of when he was actually coming in.
Right.
Like, it wasn't like, oh, we might get him. It's like, no, we had him. We had him, and it was going to happen. But come on, you easy one. You know what mine is.
Go ahead.
Come on. Hey, I need you to guess.
Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan. Come on.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I bet you people. I bet you people can guess it in the damn chat without me even.
Schwarzenegger? Is that what it is?
Who?
Schwarzenegger?
I'd love to. That'd be fantastic. It's not the answer. It's not the answer. Although, just watch Predator again instead of watching Terminator recently with my daughter. But
Julia
no.
Roberts?
There you go. Did someone say that in the chat room?
You couldn't interview Julia Roberts if your life depended on it.
What are you talking about?
You wouldn't be able to finish questions. You would dissolve into a puddle in clothes. There's no way.
You're probably not wrong.
You'd have to put broken glass in your shoes just to keep you somewhat level, man.
I would try. I made a reach for it. I made a reach.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I reached out to the publicist for her movie that comes out in a year.
I feel like she's gettable for you as you're building now in the chat, especially when you get to New York. I think she's going to be gettable for you.
I'd hold it together. Yeah. But yeah, that's
I mean, the second she reaches out and touches your arm, you're going to be finished.
No, I'm not going to let that's inappropriate.
All right, that's a thank you.
Wesley Cunningham. I like the change of pace approach for the Transformers. We're going to get into this, but I can see how it took some folks off. Seems like they had to, though, after audiences slowly abandoned the live action. The reboot after some time off is the question. Okay, so I understand the argument of the thing is this for kids. The 1986 movie was for kids. And it still had a good tone, because I saw your reaction to it, and you're like, "Oh, everybody wants these Transformers to be serious." It's exactly what we're talking about with Deadpool, right? Not to the same extent, obviously, but Deadpool is able to mix a serious tone with the humor itself. And Transformers has never been a Pixar remake type of movie. This movie looked like as Winston said on the show, looked like their attempt at Pixar. Didn't have any essence to it. The same problem I had with Solo. Solo, meaning that Solo, to me, that doesn't feel like anywhere near the character of Han Solo. Doesn't care. Doesn't feel like it. It's like, well, he grows into it. I don't feel like that character I saw on screen will grow into the Han Solo that I saw 2 years later in canon. And the same goes for that whatever version of Optimus Prime that was. I just thought it was a terrible trailer personally, but you liked it.
I did. I liked it because it's an animated film. So I don't put the same kind of expectations on a live action Transformers film. But then again, the live action Transformers films work for me because to me, at the end of the day, this is a franchise about talking cars. And yes, we've gone deeper. There have been more emotional stuff. If you go and read all the comics and all that kind of, I get it. I totally get it. But it's at the end of the day, it's fun. And when you go watch those old school animated series, there's a lot of ridiculous shit in an animated series that is fun. That's what makes it fun. It's nostalgic for that reason. And I get it. But remember, this is where we're seeing the destruction of this relationship. So
who said the animation was
people keep coming after Snyder because he has said that every animated film is made for kids.
What I said, like the thing is that this particular one seems like Transformers 1 seems like their target audience, because I keep getting, and I got to address this because I keep getting this on every freaking video. And there's one particular viewer, very loyal viewer, who always says, no matter what you think, Harloff, animation isn't just for kids. I have never said that. I have never said that. I think that even this movie, Transformers 1, that adults and kids could like this movie for sure. What I'm telling you is, and if you argue with it, I can tell you you're wrong. You probably talk to the people who made it. It is targeted towards younger children.
Yes.
This particular movie is targeted towards younger children. That doesn't mean that a 50, 60-year-old person can't enjoy it and shouldn't watch it. No one says that. What I'm telling you is there is a marketing ploy for every movie. Who are we marketing this towards? What age group are we marketing this towards? This is marketed towards children. Didn't work for me because of that particular thing, because they're going so silly with it. But it doesn't mean that you can't enjoy it, and you shouldn't be looked upon with anyone turning their nose at you for enjoying it if you are 50 years old watching this.
But there is going to be some, and I don't think they wanted to dive into the darkness of it all, because clearly, as they've said in the log line, something happens in this film that causes them to become mortal enemies. That something may be a really dark thing that happens. We see a shot of Megatron touching something, and he's on his knee, and he seems clearly emotionally affected by it. So will Optimus Prime getting him to go to the surface cause the death of someone that he loves, a parent or a girl, whatever it is?
And they could change it,
and then that changes them. Then we might see different voices, different colors in their voices that show you that they become
the reason why it happens. And that's what we said on the show, is that it's a trailer. So a trailer, if there have been bad trailers for very good movies, so maybe that was the case as far as me for this one, and maybe I wind up liking it. Nick Alexander, this is just what the MCU needs. What characters do you hope shows up from an older non-MCU or an MCU title? I mean, I do want to see how they're finally going to introduce Gambit, and I assume it'll probably be Channing Tatum.
You think?
Yeah. I think it'll definitely be Channing Tatum. That guy cameos in everything.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
In everything. He's not going to cameo in this. Of course he is.
He's a gimp in This Is the End, and he's not going to cameo in this. Yeah,
everything. And I think, I don't know if I've ever not liked one of his cameos.
Yeah, no,
his cameos work in everything he ever does. He pops up, and it's like he's like the cameo guy.
And Matt Damon, they're the king of cameos.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Both of them. Yeah.
I would love to see. I think Tatum in this would be great. How do you feel?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Tatum. It'd be a lot of fun. Not MCU. I don't know where do you go with the Fox stuff. I guess maybe. I mean, it'd be fun to see Ben Affleck as Deadpool popping up out of nowhere.
You mean Daredevil?
Daredevil or Colin Farrell as Deadshot would be a lot of fun, even though they probably never do it. So and there's rumors about obviously Jennifer Garner's going to be in this as Elektra. So why not bring Ben Affleck and have a little cameo?
They get along. They get along still. So
and if Mark Clark Duncan was still alive, I guarantee you he would show up as Kingpin in one of the scenes. So,
Hank Pym going to the Raw show tonight. Awesome.
Nice.
Paid money for an entrance seat to see Rhea, only for her to vacate her title 1 week earlier. No yeet. Yeah, it's a bummer. It's a bummer. I think you wrote this, and I'm going to push back on this because there's no chance that he would do this. There's no way that her injury is a work. No way. No chance. They're what he just said, for exactly what he just said. He bought a ticket to see Rhea Ripley is selling tickets right now.
Yeah.
On a business side, putting her on the shelf for 3 or 4 months because you want to get Liv Morgan the title.
Yeah.
That would be, if that turns out that's a very stupid decision. And it seems like a Vince decision. But it doesn't seem like a Triple H decision. And she's just too hot right now. Plus the fact she's the only one who had a long title reign still after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I don't think that would be the smart play. So no, I don't think it's a worked angle, but I think it's a real bummer for Hank. And
my only point is, I think, how about this? I'll meet you halfway. If it's not a work, I don't think she's as injured as they're letting on. And I think they want to build this Liv Morgan thing and give Rhea a bit of a break. Now, what has been reported is that Rhea has been having some real difficulty. It's what's being seen behind the scenes with the attention and with the overwhelming amount of attention that's been coming her way. And there have been rumors behind the scenes about some anxiety stuff and things like social anxiety stuff. So we just
mentioned Rachel Cushing, right?
Huh? Yeah,
Rachel Cushing.
Sure.
Rachel Cushing was a friend of mine from when she worked with me at The Bachelor. She was never intended to be on video. She never did, but she really loves trivia. So she came in at a time when the Schmodown was really starting to boom.
Just about to. Yeah, you're right.
Just about to. And she was not only fantastic, she's a lot better at the character stuff than she gave herself credit for, but she was,
I agree.
She was really, really good. And the fans loved her because they saw themselves in her.
Yep.
And she started to get a lot of attention, and so much so when we started doing live events, I wanted to put Rachel on every freaking show because the same reason. It's like they're gonna come see Rachel.
Yeah.
And Rachel she's been outspoken about this, so it's not me talking out of turn, but she just wasn't the thing that she wanted to do. She was very she did the live event against Kalinowski, and it took a lot out of her to do that. So, and that's at a very smaller scale than what Rhea Ripley is going through. So I get it.
Yeah, so maybe that, and they want to push Liv now that she's back, and this is a way to build up the program, and they'll clash at SummerSlam, and it'll be fine because Liv is totally winning tonight. I mean, if Becky wins, great.
Well, that's the next question. Let's go to that next question. Hank, who do you think will be the new champ tonight? I agree with you that I think Liv will be the new champ. I hope it's Nia.
I think Liv beats Nia as the last person in the ring to win the title.
I hope it's Nia. I think that, to me, I bought that Rhea could beat Nia. I don't buy that Liv can beat Nia.
Did you buy that Alexa could beat Nia? Because Alexa beat Nia a few times.
I know. I know. It's just so hard because I feel
I think Alexa's a better wrestler than Liv.
Yes, true. Nia was stiff when she was first around. She's looked pretty damn good since she's been back.
100%.
She looks pretty good.
Reborn.
Character-wise, the way she's playing, she seems like she's playing ball. I want to see her get a good run, and then Rhea comes back, but they're not going to do it because of the obvious reason. Liv Morgan's got to win the title because then it sets up this thing, especially when Rhea's supposed to be the heel and Liv's supposed to be the good guy. Yep, the audience doesn't want anything to do with Liv, so she's going to be the bad one. She's going to go even more bad. So there's no chance Liv Morgan doesn't win the title.
Yeah. You got, and you want to turn her face, and that's the way this goes.
Rhea,
Rhea.
Elusive Rock, over under 50% of Momoa returns for Dune Messiah. 2%. Under. No way.
He died.
No way.
Yeah.
Darth Vader's burnt asshole.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's the best. And I mentioned you on the show the other day, and I don't know if you heard this. I'm such a big fan of Darth Vader's burnt asshole. There you go. There's a clip out for you. So the reason why is because very supportive on the show. Very supportive, whether it's look at the generous super chat that we have there, right?
Okay.
Always asks great questions, always has some fun things. But God forbid you use I for Godzilla versus I think he's an artist, I think that's why. But Godzilla versus Kong, there was an image that I found on I just did Godzilla versus Kong and I found it, and there's one didn't look AI to me, but
used an AI image.
But so
you didn't know.
First of all, even if I did for that particular thing, I have when it comes to that, I mean, it's what's the difference if I use a poster that somebody put together? Sure, it's like for this particular thing that it was just I think it was one of our live videos that we did.
Okay,
but I have a different stance on it when it comes to certain things. Artists are like, no, like when the whole thing that happened with the Civil War stuff that just happened recently. I had my point with that Civil War thing that for people who don't know, Civil War used something on Instagram recently that they were promoting their movie and they used images of like fictional of war in American landmarks, but Civil War stuff, and they used AI, and people kind of got really pissed off at them for it. My thought process was this: if they used up all their marketing budget already, and they used everything, and they already have all their images, and they put out all the stuff they already had, and they put out a couple of AI images, okay. I mean, it doesn't bother me. But the Netflix stuff did bother me. There was a documentary that they used where they used AI stuff to kind of distort the story. That's not like they showed images of things that didn't happen or whatever. You're fucking around with like, telling the truth.
Right.
When it comes to marketing, I hold it a little different, but I understand the artist's point of view on it. I do.
Right.
But as I say, DVBA, he'll go after you if you use. He's done it before.
Really?
He does not like when I use those images. And I don't blame him. I'm not taking anything against him. He's got a stance. He's probably an artist, and I get it.
We all have the hill we want to die on.
But this is his thing. Hot take: DP3 looks great. What's that? Oh, Deadpool 3.
Deadpool 3.
But this movie isn't enough to save the MCU for me. It's fair. One movie doesn't make up for their squanders. Fair. I genuinely wish these movies should drop the cinematic universe and just make movies on their own. They're too locked in at this point to do that, and it's making too much money in order to do it. I don't think they can do that. But I don't disagree with anything you said there. I think that they got to earn your trust more so, because Guardians 3 got everybody's trust back.
Yeah.
And I knew it when that movie came out. I was like, don't get hyped yet. That's a closing movie of a franchise from the past phases. It has nothing to do with these new phases.
Yeah.
So
agreed.
Yeah.
That's why I think might keep it from the billion, is people might be like,
maybe.
I don't know.
Elusive Roxy's story the other week reminded me of one of the all-time great American novels. This hoe got roaches in her crib by Quan Moore. Also, that trailer, let's fucking go. It's hilarious. Yeah, I wish you guys would have heard the follow-up to that story. I'm sorry. Tom Hanks. I watched Heat for the first time. Ralph. Yep. Did you hear Pacino? There's this clip going around where he talked about his character, and that his character Vincent was doing, like, they had made the decision that he's doing like Coke chips the whole time.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've seen that before.
Yeah. Tom Hanks. Rocha, how do you find time to watch so much? He doesn't have kids.
I don't have kids, and I have a very, very understanding girlfriend. And since we work from home, both of us, we spend time with each other, so there's not that pressure. Like, I got to spend time with her that tonight or whatever. Like, it's a nice. She's very understanding.
Does she have your type of tastes in movies and TV?
No, which is why we have to. Yeah, we have to have the conversations about shows, and she likes to take her time through shows, which fucks me up when I'm trying to review stuff. So we have to have conversations between us. Yeah.
Jacob Feltner. Do either of you have an Ape screening lined up yet? Curious when we'll start seeing the first reactions. No, not yet. I think that first you get Fall Guy out of the way, and after Fall Guy, that's when those will start coming in. But I can't wait. Fabrice, sorry to add to the pile of shit that you should watch, but after Shogun and Fallout, try Baby Reindeer. Ellis just told me this too. It's so effed up and should be right up your alley. I hear, Ellis literally called me to tell me to start watching. He never does that.
Everybody's talking about it.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about
it. I'll have to check that one out. Jacob Fleck, over or under? What's that, John? What are you
Did you see Challengers or not? Did you? Are you to see?
I'm going to see it this week.
Okay.
I'm going to see it this week.
Just check.
Yeah, I do want to see. I mean, I just missed every screening for it. Over under 50%. McAvoy and Fassbender are in Deadpool Wolverine. I'm going to go under.
I'm going to go under too.
Yeah. I would. Patrick Stewart's got a shot.
Yeah,
he's got a shot.
Yeah,
Hugh Jackman and him are pretty close. So
it's true.
Yeah. Mike Joyce watched Blast from the Past for the first time this weekend and loved it. Any Brendan Fraser movies you'd recommend? I haven't seen many.
Encino Man. What the fuck?
Oh yeah, Encino Man and School Ties.
School Ties. Oh yeah, School Ties for sure.
For sure.
And the Mummy films, of course. Yeah.
I never really loved those movies. Never loved the Mummy. Chris Miner. Watching all 18 Fox Marvel projects to build towards Deadpool and Wolverine. Good Lord. Definition of a hit and miss collection of films. Outside of Logan, what's the best and what's the worst? That's too hard to go through that much stuff. But I would say the best is, outside of Logan, I love First Class. I love First Class.
Yeah, you and I differ on that. I
I
don't.
love First Class, but I would say if you're looking at X-Men movies,
Mm.
First Class, Days of Future Past are in there.
X2.
X2 is up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to, well, and if you're looking at all Fox, when you say all Fox Marvel projects, okay, so you're also looking at Daredevil, right? Is that Daredevil?
Yeah, it's Daredevil.
Yeah, and then you're looking at the first three. I mean, if you're saying outside of Logan, well, then you got to probably put Deadpool 1 up there also too.
Oh, good point.
Which is also a Fox movie too.
Argue Deadpool. Yeah, Deadpool
so
1
Deadpool's probably up there as well
for sure.
But yeah, that's what I'd have to say. Jaden Coleman. I love how they kept the big surprise secret and haven't given too much away after 2 trailers now. Who would you guys love to see cameos in the film? I'd love for Daphne Keane. I would love for Daphne Keane to show up. That would be great. I don't want to even speculate because the problem is all these freaking rumors that come out now. But like I said, I think I'll just use my same answer from before and see Channing Tatum.
Yeah, I hear Daphne Keane is in the movie. So,
okay.
And I'm not saying from a big reliable source. I'm just saying I've heard. And so I wouldn't be surprised if she pops up in a different version of X-23. Be nice to see her back as that. But sadly, that's probably the closest we're ever going to get to her being X-23. So,
okay.
And what she's got. Oh, yeah, she's about to do Acolyte. So it makes more sense. You know?
It does. Yeah, because that's true. Okay. Chris Minor. Oh, wait, real quick, an update on the poll right now. 71 after 415 votes, 71% week to week.
Oof.
Yeah, so there's no comeback there for Binge. Chris Minor, do we think that Deadpool and Wolverine will erase movies like X-Men Days of Future Past did? 100%. Yeah.
You think it will erase it?
It's going to erase the universe, you mean? Yeah, it's the whole point of the movie.
Possibly, but I don't know. To me, I don't know. For me, it won't because it's like, no, those are that time. This is a new time.
Oh, I think canon wise, it's going to erase movies, is what he means. You don't think canon wise they're gonna? That's the whole point. They're gonna erase, like, it's gonna be like they're setting up one new timeline. I think in this movie.
I guess. Yeah.
There you go. Rocha can be excited. Brad Oxley says Ospreay and Danielson was an all-time classic, and Dynasty was an all-time pay-per-view. The story was simple: the GOAT versus the current. What's BITW? I don't know what that is. Best in the world. And it lived up to the hype.
Yeah, until he injured him. And now Danielson is out for weeks. So, great. But there was nowhere near the same amount of time that you had for Cody and Roman. So it's a completely different. They built that up over 3 months? That's nowhere near the amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm getting kind of over the Tony Storm shtick. It's getting a little old for me. But
who's that?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
that should answer your question, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't watch AEW, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, all right, fair. Tony Storm, she's rebranded herself as a 1940s Hollywood actress.
Oh,
It was funny initially. Now it's getting a little tired.
Shaz Verse, you are an X-Men. You are the X-Men. Deadpool, the F-Men. Go. This is $1 billion film. Easy. Can never get enough of Wolverine. So hyped.
All right.
Yeah. So when I come back in LA, I'm coming for that steak.
Neither one of those X-Men films ever crossed. None of them have ever crossed $1 billion. Deadpool, neither of them have ever crossed $1 billion. But you guys think these two combined will cross $1 billion? All right.
Let's see. Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go. Next one. Mike Joyce, thoughts on the NFL draft on Thursday?
Oh, just came over the wire that they traded Zach Wilson from the Jets to the Broncos. Nice. Yeah. Why would you trade for that guy? But okay.
Who knows? Yeah, I'm not. I mean, we'll see. I always wait to hear the big news when it comes out. I don't watch them. Aaron, Taskmaster 5 comics against each other is so good. I believe you. I don't know enough about it, but do you know enough about it?
No idea what that is. Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Mike Joyce, last week tonight covered UFOs. Did you watch? I watched his speech. Unfortunately, I was going to watch for John Oliver and see what he was going to say. He seemed very uninformed. He brought up stuff that was older stuff. He didn't even mention kind of David Grush stuff. He had like a full. I like his reports when he does things. I loved his one in the WWE that he did a while back. But he seemed very uninformed. He seemed like someone who just like broke down certain things that he heard from the news that he said, okay, well, this is what Arrow said, and this is what Sean Kirkpatrick says. So this, I like John Oliver a lot. I thought it was a pretty shitty thing. Okay. So next one, Renee Reyes. Did y'all catch the Ryan Garcia versus Haney fight? Boxing's been dry, but this fight really put it back on the map. I agree with the first part. I agree it was a great fight. Putting boxing back on the map. It's like we just talked about with Deadpool. It was a great movie, but you got to have the rest of the universe show up. Boxing still had the whole reason that boxing fan, you got to remember, I was a major boxing fan. Boxing, one of the reasons I switched over and found, and by the way, UFC 300 was phenomenal.
Right.
And watching UFC, the reason why UFC worked, because UFC is a league in the way that the NFL is a league, that they put together their different, factions. Or you have the WBA, the IBF, the WBC. There's no league. It's just a bunch of different factions, and like this person will fight this person for money, and there's no contenders. There's none of this stuff, and it was mess forever. And the reason they got away with it so long because the exposure of the superstars that they had, whether it was a Sugar Ray Leonard or a Roy Jones Jr., a Mike Tyson, a Muhammad Ali, any of those, they could sell it off the personalities themselves, but they don't have an organized league. So when you have a big fight like this that everybody's talking about it, nobody will be talking about it again. And the reason, the next time you're going to hear about boxing, Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson.
Yeah, that's true.
That's it.
True. Yeah.
That's it. And boxing is just, it's too unorganized. I love the sport so much, but it is a sloppy mess.
Well, yeah, I agree with you, brother. Yeah, I think it would be great if they kind of just cut all that shit out and go like, okay, these are the purses. This is the fights that are supposed to happen. This is the next thing. Set it all up. And so we can now invest in people's rise through the rankings and be aware of everyone else. And yeah, it's time to cut away all the federations, make it all one federation, rank them the way you're supposed to rank them, and then have them fight each other, agree with purses ahead of time. So there's not this, well, I'm getting 51%, he's getting 49, they're showing up for nonsense. You're fighting for the title to keep the title. That's the way.
There's too many crooks involved in boxing. There needs to be one guy with a lot of money who buys one federation and contracts boxers to his league.
Yes, like you're seeing now with golf. Liv is coming in at LIV, and they want to buy everybody, put them all under one fucking thing.
One roof. That's it.
I agree with that.
Swayze, I'm not going to lie. I really wanted a depressed, middle-aged Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie. I did too. Please just give us the real Spider-Man 4. I absolutely wanted that movie, and I thought that was where Sony dropped the ball. How Sony didn't make an Andrew Garfield movie solo and a Tobey Maguire solo movie right after that movie and have them lined up and ready to go, unless there's some deal with the MCU that says they can't.
I doubt it.
It's really stupid. Really stupid. Let's make Madame Web though. That makes sense. Okay, let's see. Swayze, middle-aged. Spider-Man 2, aged like fine wine. It's a good movie. It's a good movie, but I definitely I think that it's got its flaws.
It's dated.
Yeah. It's got.
I'll take the hit.
It's got Raimi stuff, man. It's got like if you love Raimi, those movies are never gonna get old for you. I don't dislike Raimi, but he's got a particular style that's just not for me. Sometimes some of it comes off corny.
Yep, agreed. Raimi's a good filmmaker, not a great filmmaker.
Yeah. Pete Parker 2288. Raimi knew how to do solo Spider-Man adventures. I think the 1 and 2 that's a fair assessment.
Yeah,
I think it's a fair assessment. I think I like 1 and 2 for sure. Al Rencha, Doctor Strange or Wong or both at the end of the other end of the portal. It would make sense to have Doctor Strange in this movie.
If that portal is even real, we don't know if that's added as a kind of giving you a bit of a red herring, or giving you an idea that it's going in one direction when in fact it isn't. So who knows if that portal is even real? So yeah, but if they're there at the end, that could be fun. Especially Wong, if he's there, that would be a lot of Wong and Deadpool and Wolverine. That's a great threesome in terms of the ball busting and comments. So
yeah, it's true. I don't know if Wong will show up, but he was really good in 3 Body Problem, by the way, too.
Oh, was he? Yeah, I love him.
He was really good. You haven't seen any of that yet?
Not yet. No.
Yeah. Matt B. As a Jonathan Nolan produced show, it'll be close to 2 years before we see a Fallout season 2. So the binge model hurts it even more. I mean, and not necessarily, because if you get the hype up for it once it comes out, you get it week to week, people will watch it.
They had to wait for the green light. They got greenlit, I think, on Friday or Thursday of last week for a season 2. So boom, here we go. Let's have some fun with it. But Nolan's probably already been working on these scripts because of that situation that's happened before.
Right.
I mean, Westworld lost steam because it took so long.
True.
Between seasons.
Matt Sinister McCall, Ivan Drago sucks. Yeah, all right. Great show, Harloff. You're the GOAT. Thank you, man. That was very kind of you. Every week you're in here putting out questions, so we're very, very thankful to you. Thank you so much. Okay, I think we have 1 or 2 more, John. We're going down the down the checklist. A very active chat here today.
Ooh.
K-Dog Westmore, I think shows should drop in chunks of 3 or so episodes. I don't disagree with that, depending on the show. When you get, I think 2, especially when you get these little half an hour episodes sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like you want to get somebody, look, here's 1, but watch 2, because watch what happens in 2, and now you want to watch 3.
Yeah, what was the show recently that like was the one direct? Oh, there was an Andor. Like one director directed 3 episodes, another director did 3.
Yeah.
Like that. If you're going to do that, then absolutely drop all 3 episodes at once, so you get the full part of the story, and then move on to the next thing next week in a new way. So yeah, if you create the show that way, absolutely 3 episodes at once.
Yeah. Okay, Mystery's back. We got him.
Hey,
I crap and shits.
hey.
Holy fucking shit, that trailer. I hope that at the top of the ramp, Cassandra Nova says, I have the power while at the mouth of Castle Ant's skull. That would be hilarious. There's got to be a He-Man joke from that. There has to be, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Has to be. Pete Parker, 2288. Snyder and JT not in your top players? Crazy. Definitely my top team. They're my favorite team of all time.
Not solo, but certainly together. There's a difference.
Yeah, because even JT was a great character role. Snyder was just taking a lot of his personality and doing what he had to do. Yeah. But Snyder was them together. They're my favorite team of all time. There's no offense to anybody else. They're my favorite.
They're
team.
magic together. I can't deny it.
They're my absolute favorite. They made me laugh. I enjoyed watching them play together. Like everything they were just great. Hotel Nerd Network just got home from work and catching the end of the show. No idea what topics were, and I saw the poll. I love doing week to week. It builds the drama and water cooler talk, which is great about W2W. Which one's that?
I don't know.
Best movie soundtrack. I say Ghostbusters 84 or Top Gun. I mean, there's the whole soundtrack. I mean, there's a lot of different best movie soundtrack ever. The first one that comes to mind has nothing to do with great soundtracks, but it might be a good one. But I always think of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. It's a really good one.
Great score.
Yeah. So, but I don't know overall soundtrack. I'm not sure. But those are great points that you make, though. Again, about the day to day. Or
I would take Top Gun over Ghostbusters 1984.
Yeah, sure. I probably agree with that. Yeah. Galagos, there he is. Do you want to build a snowman? Cheers, fellas. Thank you, man. So great to
what's up, Galagos?
Every week. You said more. I was wrong, John. Josh Neal. Okay. In my opinion, the best of Holland's Spider-Man is still the third act of Homecoming, when it's just him relying on himself in a crappy homemade suit. Yep. Spider-Man 4 can recapture that. I'll be happy. I think that's what everybody's looking for. I think that's what Tom Holland is looking for. And thank you very much for that very kind super chat, Josh. Carlton Rudder. Goddamn, you guys are still on, showing support from the UK. Show on YouTube, like the Monday live show. You deserve 1 million subs. We're trying, man. We're trying hard. And John's been this morning when we started late today because Deadpool trailer was on this morning, so we said we had a little bit of time. I got a big interview for the UFO show tomorrow. We got Jesse Mike coming on, so we're prepping for that. Cool. Riley's coming in, so we'll be so after I get off the air here, because he's coming in just a little bit. So I got to get off after we do these questions, but thank you so much. Galagos, hey, guys, here's a $5 towards the movie question for you both. Has there been a movie that you love that your significant other hated or vice versa? Yeah, many. Yes. I mean, that's like there was Oppenheimer. My wife hates that movie.
Wow.
Hates it. She's like, if you want to drink a bottle of NyQuil, she hates it. She hates Oppenheimer.
Can I tell you something? We did 3 years ago. We did the Marvel show on stereo, the Late Out in the Law. She watched the first 25 movies. She hates Winter Soldier.
Oh my God.
I can't. Movie. We're about to do it on the Cinephiles starting next week. And I'm so looking forward to breaking that film down. But she hates Sebastian Stan. She hates Bucky as a character. Wow. Just hates it. So I was like, wow.
I love that movie. But yeah, Oppenheimer. Yeah. She hates Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
Brad Oxley, Danielson's injury is a work. Come on, Rocha.
Oh, you would know. You're there. You were backstage at AEW. You would fucking know.
I'll tell you, though, I saw both. I would say that his injury is closer to a work than Rhea's is. Okay. Ronan Unchained. Hey, Kristian and John, you're the Deadpool and Wolverine of the YouTube community. Well, thank you. Any comics that you guys recommend? Hope to see you both at a live event soon. I'll tell you what I will recommend. The Marvel G.I. Joe comics from the 80s. Okay. You go from issues 1 until 70.
Yeah,
those are what they should be making the movies and the TV shows out of, are those comics.
If you're not caught up on Invincible, definitely read Invincible. It is a fantastic comic. The Walking Dead comic is great. Kirkman doing both of those is incredible. There's so many, man. I mean, the Green Lantern one with Darkest Night, those are the most incredible ones as well. There's so many, dude. I might do a whole video one day of all my comics back here that are my favorites. Maybe give people something they hadn't looked at before. And all the Sin City Frank Miller shit.
Yeah, those are good too. Renee Reyes, do you guys ever feel fatigued covering all these movies and shows? If so, what are you wasting out of it? So the answer is, when I was with Collider, yes. Yeah, very much so, because of I would come in and be like, you got to cover this. And I'm like, why? So because it's your job. I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't care about that show or movie at all. And I only, from myself, I really only cover stuff that I want to talk about. It's also why, and I also know that sometimes there are some people, like, I think that Greg Alba is one of the best YouTubers of all time.
Agreed.
All time, not because just of his personality and stuff too, but the way that he approaches it, what he does, his approach to how he maneuvers his channel. That guy overworks himself to a place, and he says, he talks about it too. He is just so on it, and watches everything, puts together everything, has people to watch stuff with him too.
Yeah, I
can't do that anymore. So I don't put myself in that type of place anymore. He's also 15 years younger than me, or whatever he is. So, so I can't do that anymore. So I choose not to. So I don't get fatigued anymore, because I only cover stuff that I want to cover.
I'll be curious to see if him and if his lady have a child, how that will change for him, the amount of time that he puts into the YouTube channel, because it is a lot what he does. And he's successful at it. And he's great at it. Really, and I'm with you. Like, I cover what I want to cover, because that keeps me sane. Because it's so overwhelming. So
it's a lot. Hotel Nerd Network, WGW is week to week. Oh, thank you. Yes. Okay, Crap and Shits is back. Love that you're adding Chris Carmore. She's a great alternative for Coy and Winston. Should add her as a superhero for the intro to Capes and Cows. I got to talk to Wicked Art for that. I don't do that. That's him. So he'd have to add her in there too. But Chris is great. I love having Chris on. She's going to be doing more stuff. We're considering if we're doing some. She actually wants to get into wrestling stuff, and we're considering doing a wrestling channel. I was going to talk to you also, John. Is that we're going to consider doing a wrestling channel, but I don't know.
Let's talk.
Yeah, I don't know yet. Like, it's got to be after I get to New York. Okay, Ronetta.
Hey,
what's up, fellas? I'm looking so forward to this movie. This movie is 100% making $1 billion. If it's phenomenal. Also, that last episode of Shogun, I was on the edge of my seat. Holy shit! Don't say anything. But it's pretty good.
I hadn't been recording my reaction to the episodes, and then I felt like the last 2 episodes were going to be bangers, so I recorded my reaction. I had no idea that it was going to end the way it did. If you want to watch my reactions on my channel, my mouth is just wide open for like 30 seconds, literally reacting to that moment.
Okay.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Carlton Rudder got you both 10 subs for each of your channels. Thanks, man. Tell them we said hello.
Thank you, Carlton.
And then Philly G, super sticker. Thank you. And that's it. We knocked it down. We did it. So thank you guys for joining us here today. I'd like to thank John. John, where can they find you?
Thank you. You guys can always find me at The Rocha Says on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, The Outlaw Nation on Twitch, and my YouTube channel. Guys, I know you guys watch here. I know you guys subscribe here. Please head on over to my YouTube channel as well, youtube.com/John Rocha Says. Really trying to get to 50,000 subscribers this year in 2024. Would love for y'all to come aboard. And it's a good subscription. We got great shows there with the Jedi Way, with the Hot Mic, with the Geek Buddies, my own personal stuff. And I'm going to start doing more live shows like I used to back in the old days at the Outlaw Nation show. I'm going to bring that back in a different format. So all of that stuff happening there. And of course, my podcast, the Cinephiles, the Geek Buddies, and the Hot Mic. They're out there for you all to enjoy. And great to see everybody. And thanks, Kristian. Always great to see you on a Monday, brother, man.
Thank you, John. And make sure you go check out John. Support John on his channel. And he comes out here every Monday to be with you guys. And I saw Carlton Rudder also through friends, family, and colleagues. Thank you, Carlton. Very appreciative to that. Thank you guys. If you're brand new to the channel, you haven't been here before, make sure you subscribe. As I mentioned throughout the show, I cannot emphasize enough, get yourself something from one of our sponsors. If it's one of the things, I always get the sponsors that I feel that you guys are going to like. I put the links in the description. I always pin it as the top comment. If you want to support the show and you're able to, that's how you do it. All right. Thanks for joining us here today, guys. I appreciate you, and we'll see you guys very soon. Bye.